Oh, my lines, my lines. I can't remember my lines. Oh, I have 3 people in here stacking up. I would love to. I think I'm gonna go and mess around. Tomorrow is Tuesday, and they're talking about rain, so I won't be able to start anything tomorrow. I want to start some beats tomorrow. Now I could do it today. I think I might do it today. Let me see. Let me see what I feel like. If I go out there and cut this tree down to a normal height where I can reach it, that should take about 20 minutes. And I can't use a lopper. I'm going to have to saw it off because it's very thick. Hello, how you doing? I'm just planning my day out. You have to excuse me, I'm kind of quiet because I was thinking going out there planting some beets today. And that'll be that closer to getting things done. Do about 50 of them. Hey, I'm thinking about doing it because I got nothing else really planned out today. I'm gonna do some tomatoes. You see, this is my list, folks. I don't know if you make that out. You can't make it out, can you? And it's a list. And we used and one of these books here has information on it. First page of it. It tells you here in Maryland when to plant everything, when to start us from seed, or if you're going from plant, and it tells you when to. I found out. There we go, right there. I found out this is. Can't say this is accurate because I've done it 2 or 3 years with that, and sometimes you put it out there and it's just still too cold, and I don't want to use that. But what I have here, I got offline, and it shows something completely different. Hot peppers, 8 to 10 weeks before the last frost date. Tomatoes here, it says 6 to 8 weeks before the last frost date. Cucumbers, 4 weeks before the last frost date. Zucchini, 4 weeks before the last frost date. Eggplant, 6 to 8 weeks before the last frost date. Squash, 4 weeks. Melons, 4 weeks. Okra, 4 weeks. But this is Maryland. So I went deeper since I'm here in the city of Baltimore. I said, what is the last frost date of Baltimore City? And it gave me that. So once I did that, it had a different date than Maryland did. So the most accurate one to go by would be the one from Baltimore City. Chives, 10 to 8 weeks. Oregon, 10 to 12 weeks. Oh, hello, how you doing? Miss Finance. I love your show. You know, you and I already talked about I love your show, but I got these little things kind of getting older, and I couldn't really hear what you were saying. So um, it just bits and pieces. Um, there is. I'm getting ready to do one thing. I'm getting ready to do to improve my system here. I'm going to get a different microphone. The microphone on this mic is decent. On this camera microphone is decent, but I believe I can do better and not even spend a dime, because I have a case here where I have a professional microphone in the case. And why not? It's sitting in the case doing absolutely nothing. So I say, go and get the case, pull it out, plug it into this computer, set it up, bada boom, bada bang, and I got pure, clean audio, which people usually tune in when they can, thank you. I had some technical difficulties. I have a new mic. Oh, yes. Thank you very much. Beautiful. And when you do that, my sound will be better improved, so people can actually hear me. Not that they don't hear me, but I want them to actually hear my voice, actually, clean, smooth sound, whatever. And that's just the deal, because I've seen people. And look at this young. Oh, look at that. She said, "Hi, everyone." And that's beautiful. That's how you do it. Hi, everyone. And just for station identification, if you want to call it that, I'm the morning gardener, and I am doing the gardening thing this year. Getting all of my spring stuff, set up and ready to go. And let me tell you what I've done so far. So far, I put in all my peppers. I meant to only do just the hot peppers, but I did all of my peppers. I put them in. So they're down right now in the greenhouse, and I'm gonna do some videos on that. Getting that lazy speech again. And so what I will do is make certain that they're all set up and ready to go, because they haven't broke. I'm hoping, folks, be with me on this now. Once they break soil, they go up underneath the lights. Remember, I was saying you use them with a heat match first, and you go from the heat match to the headlights. But you don't do both, because that'll make them long and lanky. And when you want them not to be long and lanky, you want to definitely make certain that you go ahead and put them in the right place. I'm sitting like this because my back hurts, because I don't know how I pulled the muscle in my back, but I did it. And I'm wearing a back brace. It's all right, but I hate it's just irritating. It's not painful. It's just irritating. And I found out something. Listen to this, folks. I actually walked around for like 2 days. My back was killing me. I was like, oh God, make it stop. And didn't realize that in my house, I had a brand new back brace. Yes, folks, I forgot I had it. And then when I located it, I said, what is this? Oh my God, that's my back brace. And I said, I put it on and immediately started just, I said, okay, that's a lot better. But I'm excited. Gardening season here in Maryland is upon us. It is ready for us to get ready to do the thing. I'm planning more than I ever have in my life, because I want to make certain that I have enough with the way the economy is. And I'm out talking to people when I go around throughout work, and I'm talking to people. It's the same thing going on in your location. Are groceries in your location really high? Or is it just me? Are groceries really high? Is $3.18 a bit much for milk? Walmart has it for, I think, here about $4 a gallon. Is that kind of high, or is it just oh, that's not no bad? No, it's not bad at all. And I talk to more women when it comes to gardening. They are very expensive here. Oh, okay. They are very expensive here, where I live. But basically where you live, they're very high. Thank you very much for that. I thought it was just me because I go to the grocery store and I'm that kind of guy, I always, do any of you actually do that? I mean, okay, let's see what we got here. Groceries are high here. I'm in Florida. Okay. So it's just not here. It's oh my goodness. Let's see. Yes, I want to grow more this season to give to family and friends. Okay, that's a good thing to do. Give to family and friends. I'm in California. Okay, you're in California as well. Wait a minute. Yeah. Okay. I'm having a good time because, folks, I buy peaches no more. Since my trees got 3 years of age, I don't buy peaches anymore. And very soon, I won't be buying apples anymore because I have, how many apple trees I have? I said, wait a minute, because I always forget this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have 10 apple trees. Why? I have no idea. I just got them. And ladies and gentlemen, entering the room is the Food Forest Permaculture. He had a live show on last night. Go and check him out sometimes. When he is up and running, you'd be amazed at things you can learn from him. He's been doing this most of his life, folks, and he's really good at what he does. So I'm giving props up to Food Forest Permaculture. Definitely, I would consider him to be a very, 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 very knowledgeable person when it comes to the area of gardening and also nutrition. Okay, now let's see. I digress. I'm gonna the food here I had last night. Okay, I went to the grocery store and I do my normal throwing stuff in the cart deal and not looking at any of the prices. And then when I got to the counter, it kind of made me go, "What? Did she just say that?" Yes, she did. Yes, she did. Because you weren't looking and paying attention, but she was. So at any rate, got my grocery, box of cereal and some milk. And I look at it. Only price I think I really looked at was the milk. And the milk, I said, what? $3.18 a gallon? Wait a minute. A couple of months ago, before they were talking about tariffs, excuse me. I think I'm saying that right. And they were talking about that. And then they were talking about some other things. And then the prices started going crazy. And then the artificial markup in fuel this month. They marked it up artificially. They said people in these countries where they got this this disease manifesting, they're all on lockdown. So one of the largest fuel purchasers in the world is on lockdown. So how do we get the price for this oil? And they just artificially marked it up by reducing the quantity that they harvest, and they just went ahead and drove the price back up. Yep. Good morning, Miss. Okay, Finance. Yes, Miss Finance is a legend here. Everybody knows her. I mean, my goodness, I've got to go back and check her channel out again when I get that. Because I want to hear what the new audio sounds like, folks. Because I should listen, and I should say, wow. And a lot of people need to learn a lot of things about finance. I mean, we talk about it at work sometimes. And I watch people. Okay, let me give you a good example. We have workers that work there. It's not a lot of money, but let's just say they can make it like $60,000 and $90,000 a year on average, and sometimes well over 100,000. But they're always broke. And then I watch them what they buy. They buy $1,200 cell phones, $300 tennis shoes, cars that aren't paid for, exorbitant expensive cars, BMWs and that sort of thing. And they're always broke. And I always hear them complaining about money. And most of them credit is really bad. And I've done my research, so I know what I'm talking about. Wonderful. Heavenly, let's see. Okay. Essentials, yeah. And so that's the deal. And I always wonder, well, how can somebody making that kind of money not have any idea where this money is going to? Why would you pay $1,400 a month for an apartment when you can buy a house with your name on it here in Maryland for at least anywhere from $700 to $900, and and you're buying it, putting your name on it? I don't understand that. And most people, I can understand. Well, I can understand a lot of people have a fear of buying a house. They don't understand the process. They fear it, and so, the process, the actual process. So every month, if you're renting, you're paying 1,000, 1,300, whatever, each month to borrow somebody else's space, to borrow it, or to purchase it for them. And that's what you're doing every 30 days. Oh my goodness. That might be an episode you might want to jump on Miss Finance, because people need to start having some kind of control over where they live, and also lower the cost monthly for where they're living at. I don't know. Maybe that's something, might want to throw out there. But I purchased years ago and never looked back, and I love it. And I got my garden because of it, because when, it came with a huge piece of property, and I said, this is it right here. And the real estate agent said, don't you want to go in and look at the house? I said, oh yeah, that's right. I remember that day, because all I wanted was that back area, and I actually saw the food growing while I was standing there. Yeah, and so that's something I look at is people that come from generations of individuals that have never owned any property, and they tend to want to rent like mom did and grandma did. You don't want to do that. You want to say, no, I want my name on this. And another thing you want to do when you get the house, don't go putting everybody's name on your house. I've seen people do that and really mess up. Really mess up. Humans are the only earthlings that have to pay to live on this planet. No ever. All of the. Oh my goodness! No truer words were ever spoken. We pay just to have a box in a house that, believe me, is nothing but a box. And some of us have nicer boxes than others, and others have bigger boxes than others, and some of us have luxury boxes, and others have just the front and back door, and that's it. And they're just trying to make it. But when you got food growing outside that door, and food forest permaculture can attest to that, can attest to this, that is a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful feeling when you got food outside that back door. And all you got to do is walk out there in your slippers, pick you some basil, some onion, walk to the other side, get you a couple of pieces of squash. Oh my goodness, what else? Oh, a piece of fruit. Get some fruit, come on in the house, and just go ahead and stir fry you some Swiss chard with some onion and some squash or whatever you do, and some fresh fish that you may catch. Put that together, and you got something special. Because I've seen Food Forest Permaculture out there fishing. It's in a video. And the thing about it is I got to get my grind back on, because I used to go out there and do that. I used to come home with a duffel bag full of fish, and I stopped doing that. Because I just I don't feel like I'm cold all the time. I'm cold. And that's because you get a little older, you get cold. And my best fishing time when I fish freshwater, and I don't know why this is, was when it's in the dead of winter. Dead of winter, folks. I get more fish in the dead of winter. And one thing I will say, eating fresh fish with your vegetables, your fresh fruit, there is no better existence when you have fresh fish that are flopping around while you're cooking them. Well, take that picture out of your mind. You don't want to vision animal suffering while you get ready to eat them. But you definitely want to have fresh fish, fresh food. And when you eat like that, folks, it's a wonderful, wonderful thing. No human being on earth can eat better than you, no matter how much money they have. If you have your own garden outside that back door, and you open that back door and you grab you a fresh piece of corn, about 4 or 5 of them, and then you go to the other part of your property and you grab some fresh onions and some garlic. There's no one on earth can touch it. And if you grow it the correct way, for lack of a better word, organic, because really none of it's truly organic. Man has already changed those vegetables when he got on this planet. He changed it. But you get high quality food. High quality food, grown from the minerals and the pure quality of your soil. Oh, that sounds great, folks. Okra, fried, crunchy because of the batter that's on it. Fresh, clean oil, cooked in clean oil. And then you have fresh fish right next to it. That sounds good. Let me get myself together, folks. A little bit of drool there. But I think that when you grow, your own food, and it tastes better. It tastes better all the way around. You cannot eat a tomato grown properly from your own garden and absolutely not notice the difference. Sounds delicious. I see she likes fish and fresh vegetables. And Food Falls Permaculture is just laughing out loud, morning gardener. I'm telling you. But I cooked dinner yesterday. And I go to the store and I buy this bag of it's mussels, squid. What else is in there? Those pieces of scallops and shrimp and some other things are in there. I think it's clams and all. And so I always buy the really big scallops. They're about that big around. And I mix those in with the smaller ones. Anyway, I do my noodles, which is spaghetti, and I do a marinara sauce, and lots of garlic. And that was a beautiful, beautiful meal. Now, I also used to buy those huge shrimp. And I come to the conclusion, I don't really like those huge shrimp. Oh, yeah, Julie over the okra. Yeah, I'm just saying, folks, it's a beautiful thing. And I gotta tell you, when I eat an apple right off the tree and I taste the sweetness and the crunch, not an apologetic crunch, but a really crunch. And then the juices are running from the apple. And you're saying to yourself, wow, it doesn't do that when I'm buying from the grocery store. And it's got a couple of blemishes on the apple. And I don't do anything simple but just cut around that sucker. Yes, a bug got it there. Okay, I cut this, nothing, eat. Cut there, nothing, eat. Cut there, nothing, eat. And the little tiny part that has a bug bite in it, I don't even worry about that. And then I take the core and I drop it right down at the root of the tree, so it go right back into the ground and feed the tree. But you're eating like that, and you're eating and you're feeling good. Now I have a job to do this year. I have a tree that's overhung, and it is blocking the light from the peach trees and a few of my apple trees. I have a job to do. I can't cut it down myself because I don't have that kind of expertise. Now, I'm not saying I can't cut it down because I can't do the job. I'm saying I don't know how to cut it down and don't want to mess with it because it's about it's a few 100 pounds of branches there. And I want to get a skilled tree person that can bring the sun back into that area, and when you bring a tree into the area, not drop that tree on top of those fruit trees that are right below it. And that's the job that he or she's got to do. They got to cut down that tree without damaging the apple trees below it. I found an old apple orchard, and there's a way to learn how to take cuttings to grow my own. Does anyone here have ideas on how to do that? God, you asked a really good question. And I want to just tell you this. That's one thing I will say I'm not an expert on, and that is taking cuttings. Food Forest Permaculture might be able to help you. Also, there's a ton of videos out there, but you still got to be careful because the way they explain it is, well, to me, it was never clear when they explained it. But I found a video. I said grafting onto another fruit. There was a video I got with this young guy. He showed me something. He takes the scion and wraps the whole thing in parafilm. Then he cuts into a point, and he does his little slit on the connecting branch, slides those two together, lines up the cambiums, and then wraps it all the way up over everything, back down, and and really, and he said the key is to wrap it tight. And everywhere else I've checked, they say the key is to wrap it tight. Air must not get in there and dry this out. That's the key. That's what I'm going to be doing very soon. The key is not to let it get dry. When you wrap it, it's supposed to be wrapped in such a way that before it dries out or before something, all the tools must be clean you're working with. And before it dries out, you want it, so them cambiums will do like that. That's what you want. And once they do that, they will break their way through the parafilm. Am I right, food farmers? They will break right through the tape's called parafilm. The buds will come right through that parafilm. And some people, I think they call it grafting tape. Yes, that's it. It'll come right through them. And once you do that, you set. And you always want to do at least 3 or 4, just in case one doesn't take, because there's always that possibility. I guess I do know a little something about grafting, because I'm going to do it, because I know that I have one cherry tree on my property. It is a little over or under, a little over 50 feet apart from a tree that I needed to be next to. So what am I going to do? Am I going to buy another cherry tree and put in the yard when I'm trying to get it close to 2 other trees? No. I'm going to get me scions off of the tree I need, put it on those 2 trees, and that way I'm actually bringing that tree closer to the other 2 trees. Boom, bada bang. If I got one good healthy branch growing on those trees, they now have 2 trees in that location that will cross-pollinate. Because believe me, A cherry tree will not produce cherries if there's not a mate there. If it's a sweet cherry, unless you have a cherry tree that already has a male and female. Now, the one I have that I'm crossing them with, I just got maybe 2.5 years ago, and excuse me, and now it needs to cross with them. And I'm hoping it is the right one that will bloom early like these do. These will bloom early, and it needs, and I don't want to have it 50 feet away from other trees. Once I find out that that's the tree that they cross with, I'm going to say snip, snip in the fall. In the fall, bring them over to that tree, tie in those scions, and they'll grow out, and I'll have my full quantity. But I think that when I do this, I'm going to have more cherries than I know what to do with. Because one cherry tree is a little tree too. It produces about 10 pounds of cherries. So all together, how many cherry trees I got? So 2, 3, 4. Wait a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4. I only have 4. I only have 4 cherry trees. So yeah, because one of them died. Yeah, that's right. Used to be 5. And I didn't want to put another one in that spot. I just didn't. Something killed the roots on it. When I rocked it back and forward and I just broke the whole thing out of the ground, I said, where in the name of God did the roots go? They were completely gone. They were dried looking and they were gone. And the tree was over about 3 years old. Oh, loaded with apples. Loaded with apples. Love to hear that. Now, are they little apples? I found a tree in my neighborhood that someone planted many years ago. I figured it to be maybe 8, 9 years old, something like that, maybe older. Let me see what we got here. You said it was 2 comments back on my apple tree. Intel 2 comments back, morning gardener, on your apple trees. I love it when my apple trees produce apples. I love it. They don't produce a lot, but they're incredible. I actually, in my neighborhood, there are apple trees a few blocks away in a center strip with the cars, and one day I had to stop and I had to go over there, and I went over there. I couldn't tell you what kind of trees these are because there wasn't no information given there, but they were small apples, about like that. And when I saw these apples, I said, wow, look at these. And it was loaded with apples. And so I get home and I said, I don't know what kind of apples these are, but they're not crab apples because they're about that big. And the reason they were small because there were so many apples on the tree, and so many lying on the ground. And I bit into the apple, and it was sweet. And I didn't eat it because I said, you don't know, this apple tree. So I went ahead and ate the little small piece of apple. And I said, these taste like a sweet apple, like I remember Honey Crisp or Fuji. And I kept saying, no, this is a Fuji. Because, the ones I'm growing right now are Fuji, Honey Crisp, and Granny Smith. First apple I fell in love with was the Granny Smith. And then a woman at work, I didn't know her name, she gave me an apple one day. And I said, wow. I didn't know what kind of apple it was, but she gave it to me. And she said, here, try this. This is really good. And I said, no, I'm good. I'm all right, because I didn't know her, Anyway, she gave me the apple. When she gave it to me, I said, what? What is this? And it was incredible. And she said, it's a Fuji. I wrote it down. So when I started ordering my apples, I made sure that was on the list. So then it was another apple that I got a chance to taste. And it was a Honey Crisp. Fell in love. Knew that I didn't want to be the one didn't want to mess with anything that would get me away from being a person that grew good apples. But I definitely will say it was a good situation. Apples. All right, folks, this is the Morning Gardener. Let's see, there was a plum tree, a pear, and a black walnut also there. Yeah, now the plum tree I have, the pear tree I have, and nuts, I don't want to grow them because they tend to be very big trees. When you cut down your apple trees, leave the stump 12 inches from the ground. Drill 3 to 5 inch holes and 4-inch. Okay, let's see what we got there. Yep. That makes sense. You could do that. They're not my apple trees. They are in the forest, on the forest property. I want to clone these trees. Oh, that's an easy one to do. Yeah, you got the right idea. Get a couple of branches from it, and you'll be able to do exactly what you want with that tree. Grow a fresh tree. And if it's a standard tree, all you got to do is keep it cut small. If you want to keep it at 5 or 6 feet tall, you can do that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Morning Gardener Show, and I want to thank you for tuning in. This was a surprise show. I just came on and see if anybody was out there, and I appreciate you all being there. And I want to let you know that I'm going to go out there and do what I got to do to get that done before the nightfall. Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you, and have a great day. This is the Morning Gardener, and remember to keep on growing. Thank you very much.